What's going on, y'all? This is Cypher. I listen to music so you don't have to, and we are here to do this video that y'all voted for. This is the poll right here I put up. Y'all voted for that. That's why we're here. We're gonna do the fall. We're gonna do the downfall of Young Money. What happened? How did we get from hip hop's biggest faction to hip hop's biggest fraction? Right? What happened? We got nothing now, right? We barely have a Wayne and Drake anymore. So what happened? That's what we're gonna get into. But before we get into it, I'm Cypher. I'm an artist myself. I make these videos for y'all entertainment and for my own gratification. I thank you guys for tuning in and watching and staying connected, liking, commenting, sharing, and all the great stuff. I appreciate it. The channel's growing, and we getting there, and we getting there, and we getting there. So thank you guys. I'm on the road to 2,000 subscribers. So we're gonna keep it going on the road, 2,000. I appreciate you guys so much. And this is what we voted for, is what we're gonna get into. So I'm not gonna make the video extensively long because the content isn't extensively long. It's not extensively long story, but I'm gonna make it potent enough to get it knocked out in the time that we have. So this is what happened with Young Money. So we start off in 2009. We got Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, and Mac Maine, our starting five for the team. 2009, Young Money's formed. Young Money is brought out there. Young Money is out, and it is the biggest thing in hip hop. Of course, we have our reserves. We have Gutta Gutta. We have Lil Twist. We have Chucky. We have Jay Mills. It's deep. Young Money is deep. Of course, you got the Godfather, Birdman on top of everything. So we have a whole squad of at least 10 people, right? We got Chanel. We got Jay Sean at this point. We have a label that's all behind Young Money. So that's why we got such a potent group. Now, 2009 was a great breakout year for these guys, because not only did the world revolve around them, but everybody wanted to know who these people were. They all came out like the same time. We had your boy Drake come out of nowhere. We had your girl Nicki Minaj come out of nowhere, all at the same time. And all these people from Young Money are all products of Lil Wayne, which was at that time the biggest rapper in the world. So of course we want to know what's going on with these people. We know Drake from Degrassi, and we heard Nicki Minaj on Gucci and Yo Gotti stuff down south, and everybody else is hey, why not? We like the other big three, Drake, Wayne, and Nicki, so I want to see what everybody else is talking about too. So that's why we got Young Money coming out strong. We had that self-titled album Young Money, which featured Every Girl in the World, Bedrock, Miss Parker, which happened to be one of my favorite songs, and it was on fire with nobody touching it. Okay, so Young Money was just out there, and everybody loved it. So what happened? Well, we get to 2009. So right now we have Drake with So Far Gone. We got Wayne with No Ceilings. We got Nicki Minaj with her own stuff. Beam Me Up Scotty. We got the big three dropping their projects, right? So everybody's still getting used to the rest, and we all know what's coming after. What followed was Wayne kind of distancing himself a little bit with the rock music. So he dropped his rock album Rebirth. We had Drake drop his debut album Take Care, and we had Nicki Minaj drop her Pink Friday series. So when all this said and done, everything is going great for Young Money. Everybody's in their prime, everybody's doing their thing. So if this is the first premier years of Young Money, nothing's really happening besides success for them right now. And Tyga would soon be coming out with some good music himself. Right now he's on reserve and really focusing on Young Money, but his solo projects will come a little bit later. So now we get to the following year. We got Wayne and Drake in full effect. Nicki Minaj is there as well, full effect. Now this time, other labels are starting to see how things are going and things are building, right? So now we have Rick Ross, who is connected to Wayne and Drake, already with features and everything, with his own group of Maybach music, right? And they're all coming out of the woodworks. We got Wale, we got Meek Mill, we got Stally, we got Triple C's, we got everybody in Rick Ross's camp representing Maybach music. So even Omarion at one point. So we're getting our stables together. T.I., same thing. You got Hustle Gang himself, Young Dro, a bunch of other people, Spody. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's seeing what is going on with Young Money, and they want to replicate that success. So that everybody's getting their groups together, and this is what's making hip hop a great thing, because everybody's forming their own culture group. So we got Young Money, we got Hustle Gang, we got Maybach music. Everybody's forming their own side. So the music's out there. Everybody's connected in some way. So the music's great, right? So nobody's really going off too far. Drake has his Take Care. Nicki Minaj has her Pink Friday 2, Reloaded. Everything's going on with that. Wayne has the Carter 4. I mean, everything is going smooth. So people are wondering, so where's the disconnect, right? Well, we're gonna fast forward a little bit, because there was a little gap, but not enough to say that these people have split up. So we're gonna skip past a couple years and go straight to where the big problem came. So now we're here with what would be considered one of the biggest flops in hip hop, which would be the Carter 5 being held hostage by Birdman and Universal. So this is where everything started to go bad, right? So basically Wayne had his stuff locked up. He couldn't get to it through Birdman, held by Universal. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into the logistics of it. I'll just tell you that, as you know, Wayne can get his stuff. So the hierarchy is, it's Universal, under him or under them, Birdman. Then it's Wayne. Then it's Drake and Young Money and them. So they're getting a quarter of what they need. Universal's the main, half Birdman, quarter Wayne. So actually they're getting an eighth. So under Wayne it's an eighth. So Drake, Nicki, and all of them are signed to Wayne, which is signed to Birdman, which is under Universal. So they're getting an eighth of what they're supposed to get. So things already, it started off as a family thing, but now we're starting to get into some numbers, because Drake and Nicki are they're skyrocketing to be successful and big, and they don't need nobody holding them back. So it's starting to become an issue when Wayne can't get his music out or is held because they're under Wayne. So it's affecting them and the whole Young Money imprint, which is under Cash Money, the actual label, which is under Universal. You see what I'm saying? So everybody, it just goes down the ladder. If Wayne's stuff is held up, then everybody under Wayne's stuff is held up. So that's when we start to get into some other things, and it leads to misdirection. Okay, so we're already having some troubles in the water, right? The good part about it is we're starting to pivot a little bit. Drake has gone on to do Nothing Was the Same, which is arguably his best album to date. Me personally, I think I like Take Care just like that much more, but universally, even according to Drake, he likes it. It's his favorite. That's the best album for him, right? So even though Wayne wasn't featured on there, the essence of Young Money is still there. So, you know what I'm saying? The essence of Wayne, the essence of Nicki Minaj, they're not on there, but Birdman is. It starts to get a little weird, you know what I'm saying? But it's still there. So insert Young Thug. Now, Young Thug, it was Birdman's artist, not Wayne's, Birdman's artist. So he's technically in the same seat as Wayne would be. So with him being under Wayne, or actually him being beside Wayne, Wayne's looking at it like, okay, but you can't give me my stuff, but you can bring in this guy, and we're supposed to be on the same. No. So that's why they're having an issue. Birdman's rolling out the red carpet for Thug, and he's even throwing Rich Homie Quan in there, which is somebody that's outside of all that, throwing him in the mix to make their own rich game under Birdman, which is under Universal. So the whole time Wayne's like, you can't give me what I need. You're holding it, it's held hostage for X reasons, but you're bringing in this other guy, promoting his stuff, giving him rights, and this is supposed to be okay. He's clearly a replicate of myself and whatever style he adds to it, but clearly you're replacing me with Young Thug. That's how it's being looked at. Replacing Wayne with Young Thug. And that's how the world is seeing it. Well, you may be like, it's speculation. That may not be absolutely true. It might just be going with another direction while this is happening with the lawsuit. Well, it's not. So, according to Thug, Wayne was not being humble at all. Thug was trying to work with him, but Wayne was kind of brushing him off like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we don't really know who started what first. The guys had music together back then. They had Take Care, a song together, which I don't know was a business move, even though they didn't like each other. He was on the freaking T.I. song, All About the Money remix with Thug. I don't know. The industry's weird as far as friendships and business, but nonetheless, they still work together at some point in a way. But the part that's really getting people is the fact that Young Thug named his tape at that time the Barter 6. Now, the Barter 6, which is a parody spoof of the Carter, the should be the Carter, but it's called the Barter 6 for 3 reasons, right? One, it's saying it's predecessing the Carter 5 that never came out, but we're skipping the 6 because forget 5. We're moving on. That's why he named it 6. Let's just get past it, right? Same reason why Drake named the Heart 6, but it's for 6 God. It's kind of weird. It's symbolism. It's weird. But the Barter 6 because we're moving past 5. So forget your Carter 5 is what he's saying. 2, because he's saying barter instead of Carter because he's a blood. So he's using a B instead of C's. But whatever. That's why, but whatever. The Barter 6, so because he's a blood. So he's taking his name, his likeness, and his spotlight. So all of it was strategically done. In my opinion, the tape was trash. But it did have a few singles on there, like With That, Check, and a couple others. So it didn't do horribly, but people didn't like the diss. People didn't like the shade. So it didn't really get as much attention as a person would want or think, but I mean, that's their fault for even attempting that. So that's on them. But that's what happened with that. So the thug element really kind of messed things up with that. So Wayne's battling Thug, he's battling getting his tape out, he's battling trying to keep his artists happy. It's all a mess, right? So then we fast forward to 2015. Okay, now I'm trying to avoid the dates because the last video I did, long form video, was like a timeline situation, and I don't want to do like a timeline series. I'd rather just get to like the meat and potatoes of what it is, the main source, what we're talking about. So I'm just throwing this year out there because 2015 was that year when the Barter 6 was a thing. Also, the same year Drake came out with his tape. If you're reading this, it's too late. I think Nicki Minaj had her album The Pink Print, which featured Wayne and Drake heavily. And Wayne came out with Sorry for the Wait 2, which was a mixtape and also a diss to Birdman and Thug. So it's the shade is everywhere. It's all a mess. Everybody's mad. Everybody's getting into it. So since that got laid out, only thing that happened in between now and the point where we get Salvation is the departure of Rich Gang, which was Thug and Rich Homie split, and the fact that no more music is really just being released about it. It's kind of past. Now, in between, there was a couple shots Drake mentioned in a song with Wayne saying he's so tired of the situation, he's willing to pay Wayne with Universal owes. Like, he has that much money, he can just pay Wayne off. That's where he's at with it. And that was on the single Family Feud, which is Wayne featuring Drake, which he did some shots at Birdman again. But I mean, besides that, it wasn't too much traction with that no more. We're pretty much getting almost to the finality of our lawsuit here. So now we fast forward to the final thing, which was the Carter 5 finally coming out, 2018. It was good. It was some old songs, there was some new songs. Overall, it was good. So Wayne got his rights back. He got his album. He won the lawsuit, got his money. So everything's good, right? But by then, we have a fallen Nicki Minaj. We have a disarrayed Drake. And Tyga, after having Rack City come out years ago and finally getting something else, hasn't really been doing much in between. He's had singles here and there, but he's had a joint album with Chris Brown at this point. He's had a couple of mixtapes. He's had an album out that nobody really... It didn't have the same sting. And the fact that Tyga and Drake got into it in between that time too, it really didn't add to it. And he felt like he was kind of betrayed by how Young Money did him. And even though he was there for Wayne, he felt like he wasn't really represented well. So amidst all the big stuff, that stuff was happening in between too. Chucky having his problems with Young Money, about how his dad had to step in because he wasn't getting treated right. He was trying to get his music out, but it was held hostage. Twist just doing whatever. He ended up hooking up with Wayne on 2020, but that was something else. It wasn't the same feeling. You know what I'm saying? Mac Main is still behind Wayne. He's Wayne's best friend since they were kids, so he's there for Wayne, whatever. But it's just a mess. It's a big deal. At this point, Young Thug is no longer in the equation. He's doing his own thing, so it's separate. But it's still just weird, how that happened. So now we get to that point. And in 2018, Drake is coming off of his getting put out by Pusha T about his son with Scorpion album and how it didn't do well. Nicki Minaj is still struggling and fighting to get some type of traction because nobody's really dealing with her. She came out with the Queen album. Not much was going on. Travis Scott came out with Astro World and pretty much wiped hers off the map, so nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? So it's nobody's really winning right now, and Wayne is just now starting to. So there's a disconnect. So amongst all this, we fast forward, and I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but I'm gonna just say some facts. At this point, fast forward few years, Drake has got out of his deal with his last Cash Money album, Honestly Nevermind, which you can tell was just some throwaway tracks he had fun with and wanted to get rid of. And he went on to sign with Apple Music, have his own OVO imprint on Apple, and it was different. In between that time, Nicki Minaj has had a kid. She's you know what I'm saying, or off with her own drama. You know, I didn't really keep up with them too much after this point because they weren't really doing much. But I mean, Wayne was still dropping mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of all bridge out and do their own thing and do joint albums with different people. And that's another reason why I fast forward through a lot of that, because it wasn't really key points. It was just passive aggressive small points that kind of added on to the drama of Young Money. Drake did a joint album with Future at one point in 2015. Lil Wayne did a joint album with 2 Chainz in 2016. He did a joint album with Rich the Kid in, I think, 2022. Drake did a joint album with 21 Savage in 2022. Wayne did a joint album with 2 Chainz last year. Like I had a whole nother video for that. So that's another reason why I wasn't trying to mention that. But I mean, that is part of it. So they're clearly not on the same page. They're not doing joint albums with each other. Nicki Minaj, when she tried to make a comeback a few years ago, she had Wayne and Drake on Seeing Green, and that was the first time we got a reunion. Since then, Wayne heard them on the same track since, and it's just weird. It's clearly not the same. Young Money's not the same. There is no big Young Money thing. It's no. I ain't even heard from Mills or Gutta Gutta in so long, so I don't know if they're even still part of it. It's just a messed up situation, you know. So we're at this point now where everybody's so far removed that Young Money is not a thing, and Cash Money has been removed from the equation. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get that again, but I highly doubt it. Drake is in a different hemisphere. I don't think that will even work out. I know him and Wayne got 2 different vibes. You can tell off of 2 Chainz and Wayne's last project last year that it wouldn't even been a fit for Drake, because Wayne and 2 Chainz have been friends since they was young. I mean, since before he even met Drake. So they was friends back in the day. So they have their own chemistry, you know what I'm saying? So that might have been one of the things too. A lot of people speculate why Wayne and Drake didn't do a joint album. It might have been from musical differences, you know, or one feeling like the other wasn't really doing that well on tracks, so they didn't want to ruin the image. It's just a lot of industry stuff, and it's a clear indication that sometimes you just got to enjoy stuff for what it is at the time, but nothing lasts forever. So clearly Young Money didn't last forever. Maybach music didn't last forever. I guess Hustle Gang is still a thing. I ain't heard from them in years, so I don't know. But you see where Young Thug's at right now. You see where Rich Homie's Quan's at. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just... It's just not the same like it used to be. But it was good times at the time when they were together. So that's what you got to take from it and appreciate. And that's what I'm going to call it, y'all. That's the downfall of Young Money. That's what happened. Everybody pretty much went their own separate ways, whether it was through business, whether it's through musical preference, whether it was just real life situations. You know what I'm saying? I just know when everybody got into different beefs, nobody was really hopping on each other's back like that. You know what I'm saying? Except for Wayne, when that time Drake and Pusha had their thing, but that was something we tried to forget. And I really wanted to visit that Wayne this. And then as far as right now, I mean, Drake will have people on his album that he even posts a like that. Like Jay-Z's been almost on every Drake album so far, even though they post been falling out. Same thing with Kanye. Wayne's not even on the albums no more. Nicki's not on there no more. It's just weird. So if you try to paint them as a family, I don't buy it. I think they're business associates at best, but it's just not the same. And that's it. That's the downfall of Young Money. I thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate y'all, and I hope you do subscribe. I would definitely recommend that you consider subscribing to the channel, because you're gonna get more videos regularly, and I always put polls up like every other day, just to get more crowd engagement, to have y'all sound off and share your opinions, and also vote on the next video. So, you know, it's on, we a family. I have the ideas and y'all vote for which one you want. So that's what we do. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a great day and get y'all some rest, because I'm about to. I'll see y'all next time.